Okay, let's talk about modals of necessity. There are three modals we're going to focus on today. They are must, has to, which is also have to, and has got to, also have got to. So these three work as modals do in that you need to have the base form of a verb after the modal. So the base form wear or go, do. So everyone must wear shoes. Everyone has to wear shoes. Everyone has got to wear shoes. What is the difference between these modals? Well, must. Today, the use of must for necessity or requirement is very little. We basically use it in written form. It's often used to talk about rules, laws, regulations. It is rarely used in speech. We do not often say, you must do that. I must go shopping today. It's not common. In speech, we usually use have to, has to. That is the most common. It can be written also, spoken or written, but must is considered the really formal form. Have got to. This is more informal. It is generally in spoken language. And it can be used to express some urgency. It's emphatic, gives emphasis. You might think you haven't heard this before, but you might have heard it as a contracted, shortened form. Instead of I have got to, you might have heard I've gotta. I have got to, gotta. I've gotta. She's gotta. He's gotta. We've gotta. They've gotta. I've gotta go. I have got to go. I've gotta go. That is common in speech. Also, have to, very commonly, is said have to. Have to. This is not recommended in formal situations, but it's what you will hear very often. So it's important to understand it. Also, when you're using have got to, sometimes instead of saying have gotta, we put emphasis on the got. I have got to see that movie. She has got to call me. Has got to, have got to. Stress on the got when you want to give it a little punch. Gives it more emphasis. All of these, there is only one past form, and that is had to. You cannot use must in the past when you are talking about necessity. You cannot use have got to in the past. There is no had got to in English. Now, this causes quite a bit of problem for many English learners, right down here. Difference between don't have to and must not. They are totally different in meaning. Lack of necessity. Don't have to means that something is not necessary. There is no requirement for it. A person is free to do what they want. Basically, it means you don't need to do something. Must not is prohibition. It keeps the meaning of necessity, but now it is necessary that you do not do something. So I've tried to put these down here to clarify. If instead of saying the affirmative up here, you said, you don't have to wear shoes. That that means it's not necessary. You can decide if you want to wear shoes, okay, but you don't have to wear shoes. You can take your shoes off, no problem. You must not wear shoes means it is necessary to not wear shoes. Maybe you go inside of a religious building or somebody's house and you must not wear your shoes in the house. Take them off. It is necessary to take them off. So, different ideas here. Over here, I have some sentences to try to practice these modals. So I would like you to pause the video, look at these choices, and fill them into the sentences, and then continue the video to get the answers. Are you ready? Pause. Okay, did you pause? Are you back? Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at these sentences. So the first one, I need to make dinner. But first, what did you say? The most common would be have to. I have to go to the store. If you said must, people will understand you fine, but it is really not the common use of must today. It's too strong. It's not used for speaking like this. It's just not the right idea. So we use have to. I have to go to the store. Listen, Timmy, this is a prohibition, right? So you must not hit your little sister. It is necessary that you do not hit your sister. When we ran out of gas, what verb tense is this? This is the simple past. Ran out of gas. We walk a couple of miles to get help. It was necessary to walk a couple of miles. We had to walk. It's our only past form. I'm sorry, sir, but you can't come into the laboratory dressed like that. You absolutely wear the proper safety attire. I show you here that attire means clothing. Attire is a more formal word, and it gives you this idea that this is a formal kind of a regulation that you are telling another person. This situation is speaking, but it is a situation where it may be possible to use must. Even though it's usually in writing, this is a regulation, a rule, so we could use it. Especially when you have this word, absolutely, very strong. Now, number 5 is a dialogue. So the first person is inviting the other person to dinner. Can you come over to my house for dinner? That sounds great. Would you like me to bring something? You know, if someone in the U.S. invites you for a meal at their house, it is very common to ask this question. It's common to ask if the person would like you to bring some food to share at the meal. So it's a bit different than in other countries where the host is expected to provide everything. Often the host does provide everything, but it is considered to be polite to ask, and sometimes the host will say, sure, could you bring some bread? Something like that. Okay, so would you like me to bring anything or something? No, you don't have to bring anything. Just come. It is not necessary for you to bring anything. Okay? Wow, look at that sunset. David, come here. You could use have to here. It's possible to use must in a certain sense, but don't worry about that one. Really, I would like to take a look at this one here. This would be a good situation for using have got to. It's like, yes, right now, do this. You have got to see this. So again, you could put the emphasis on got. You have got to see this. Come here, look at this. So hopefully you got the idea of these modals of necessity.